Do you want to know why your deadlift still sucks? It's because you're still not aware that the deadlift is a push and a pull. It's not just a pull. You've always got your mind on having a pull, don't you? Well, don't you worry, baby. Now today, I'm going to show you my favorite deadlift variation that I use to build a 410 kilogram deadlift, 903 pounds. And if you do this, you too will deadlift 900 pounds. Maybe not 900 pounds, I deadlift 900 pounds, but what you will do is hit a new fucking PR, I guarantee you. So, the exercise we're doing today is the paused deadlift. And for me, it really allows me to separate the movement into two parts, being the push and the pull. I'm going to explain to you why that's important during the session, and essentially this will be a full deadlift tutorial just with a pause, but everything regarding technique will be exactly the same for a deadlift without a pause, minus the pause. This is why it's such an excellent variation to use in your programming to achieve a better deadlift, okay? Guaranteed, guaranteed. Now, each set I will offer you, some new information, and we'll break down the entire deadlift over the course of my warm-ups as I work towards a top set. Not too sure what I'm going to hit today, but it's definitely going to be a post-injury PR. We'll start with 60 kilos. This first one is a simple demonstration of what the movement is, and then we're going to go into it. We're going to break it down so you can understand it, and so you can use it in your programming to get fucking strong. You know what I'm saying? Whew. All right, 60 kilos. This is what it looks like. Right, a paused deadlift, pausing just below the knee. We'll put some more weight on the bar and we'll keep talking. All right, gang, now before we move on to 100 kilos, I want to go into more detail about exactly what I mean by it's a push and a pull, right? I want to break that down for you. Now, if you've watched my shit before, obviously you've heard me talk about this a lot, and I repeat myself a lot, and I will repeat myself a lot because this is the information you need to get strong. I'm not trying to throw new bullshit at you every fucking week because I'm trying to sell something. I just want you to get strong, and this is how you fucking do it, right? Sound, technique, and consistent programming, all that shit. But it starts here. Now, the push and the pull. Well, think of it as a leg press off the ground, right? Now, to achieve that, we do need to be in the correct position. I spoke about this a lot in my last deadlift video here on YouTube. Now, how do we achieve that position? Well, firstly, we have to have our knees over the bar. If our knees are not bent, if there's no flexion in the knee, we can't push. How do we push if our knees are like this? What are you doing? You're pulling, right? It's all a pull. It's all the back, it's all the posterior chain. There's no push, there's no quadriceps. So first thing is, knees over the barbell. Okay, now a lot of people will tell you straight shins. Those people probably can't deadlift. Or if you're doing sumo, that's an exception, but this is not fucking sumo, guys. No way in the world. So knees over the bar. This is how we start with the push. So if our hands are on the bar here, and our knees are over the bar, that also means our chest and shoulders have to be over the bar too, because again, if they're not, we come back like this, our chest and shoulders are behind the bar, our shins have to straighten. So again, we can't push. And then all that happens, if you go to lift from here, is we're gonna be pulled forward, but our hips are gonna be high. And again, it's a stiff-legged deadlift. We're being pulled out of position before the weight comes off the ground. So, start position, knees over the bar, chest and shoulders over the bar, arms long. Don't be bent, long arms, okay? We're gonna push the world away to initiate the movement. Just pay attention to the first part. Push. Right, that's the first part of the lift. It's all push, baby. Now, we are still using our pulling muscles, don't get me wrong, but we emphasize the push, the quadriceps, to get it moving off the ground, right? So, knees over bar, leg press, push the world away. There's your first step. Let's go. Now, before we move on to the next portion of this tutorial, do me a favor, like this video, drop a comment and subscribe, especially if you're enjoying it or if you've learned something. That would be much appreciated. Now, we just spoke about the push. We spoke about the first part. Let's talk about the second part, the pull. Now, you know, yes, technically we're using our pulling muscles the entire time, but as I said, the first part is emphasized with a push off the ground. Now, with the pull, all we need to think about here is completing the lift. But, you know, ideally, if our pauses or our deadlifts are going right, we're in the correct position here. Okay, now our position here, again, is chest and shoulders still slightly over the barbell. Okay, so if you come around to the side a little bit here, you're gonna see my chest and shoulders are still over the barbell at the midpoint, right? What we don't wanna do is push, then crank our chest up like this, right? We do not wanna do this. So we wanna push, keep everything in the upper body kind of in the same position. But strong here, we're squeezing the lats. All we're gonna think about doing is jamming the knees shut and squeezing the hips through to the barbell, all right? So jam the knees shut, boom. Now, in my opinion, the knees should lock just before the hips. If you don't do that, you will find that you'll start getting a little bit rampy. You might get stuck here. You might have to hitch it, right? So I think knees lock just before the hips, squeeze them through, stand nice and tall. I'll give you a demonstration now. Again, pay attention to the first part, but this part, specifically the second part, look at my position when I'm paused. See how my chest and shoulders will be over the bar still, in the perfect position to finish the lift. Let's go. Yep. Easy peasy, just like so. You're welcome. Moving on. All right, now moving on to the next one, baby. We're gonna talk a little bit about our stance and our grip width, right? Because again, this is important, not just for a pause deadlift, but your deadlift in general, and I'm here to help. So, one of the biggest issues I see, usually, right, pretty common, people standing too wide for their frame, right? Now, where does this come from? I think it comes from watching maybe the strongest man on earth deadlift, right? You look at maybe Eddie Hall, you see a 500 kilogram deadlift, you're like, I'm gonna deadlift like that. But the question is, are you built like Eddie Hall? Do you weigh 200 kilos, right? Probably not. Are you as wide as him? Probably not. You don't need to stand as wide. Eddie is a beast. He is strong as fuck, but he wasn't a technician, okay? So just keep that in mind. So what we wanna do with the deadlift is we wanna be fairly compact and efficient. We wanna be long. We wanna be tall. We wanna reduce the range of motion as much as we can. Now think about it. The wider your feet are, the wider your hands have to be on the bar, right? Unless you pull sumo, but that's not here. Don't even fucking think about it. But think about it, right? The wider your feet are, the wider your hands are, the further you have to travel with the barbell to lock it out. And that's why your deadlift lockouts, you look like a caveman doing this, right? What are you doing? Use your noggin, okay? Bring it in a little bit. I like to bring my feet into hip width. I'm a big fucking guy. Now, I'm only 132, 134 kilos at the moment. I'm coming back from bicep reattachment surgery. But when I was deadlifting 900 pounds, I was 140 kilos, you know, pretty much the same size I am now, a little bit wider maybe, but again, I had a very compact stance. I was very long, okay? I have a good technique, and I'm strong, which is how I achieved 900 pounds. So when you deadlift, hip width, feet directly under the hips, I think of it as like, if I was gonna jump, right? That'd be my jump position. It wouldn't be here. Not gonna generate as much force. Hips, right? And then arms directly outside of. It's very simple, okay? There's 180 kilos. Again, we'll do a pause deadlift. Pay attention to everything. My positioning now as well. I'm gonna work myself up to maybe more than I've done since my surgery. I did 240 kilos last week. It's very humble. It's not a lot of weight for me, but I'm getting stronger each week. This is only my fourth or fifth deadlift session back since surgery, I think. Like proper deadlift session. So yeah, we're getting back there, but today maybe we're a little heavier, but there's a pause as well today, so it's a little more challenging, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll smoke this though. I'm gonna start switching on now, okay? Even though I've deadlifted 410, I have to understand I need to respect this weight. Let's go. Switch it on. Move with intent. Even your pauses need to be intentful. You need to come to a fucking stop. You don't just float around like a dickhead. Let's go. Oh, yep. Easy peasy. That feels good. I'm gonna go heavier. We're back soon to talk about the next thing, which is gonna help you, because I'm a nice guy. All right, baby, now I'm about to hit 220 kilograms, hopefully for my last warm-up, hopefully not a top set. If it is a top set, not the end of the world. It's still the most I've paused deadlifted in 4 or 5 months, at least 6 months maybe. Now, one thing with this, if you're new to it, right, if you're new to this movement, and we're using it to, refine our technique, we want to be not gentle at the beginning, but you want to learn to really squeeze and push, right? You want to emphasize it and exaggerate it a little bit, right? But the better you get at it, the more competent you become. It's then really important that you start to treat it like a normal deadlift, okay? So moving it with more intent, a bit more force, but still having the control, the body control, the strength, the bracing to pause the weight at the midpoint in position, okay? So being able to push, hold, and then stand up, opposed to push, yep, and then, you know what I mean? Giving it that fucking oomph, right? So although I haven't done these in a little while, I still feel that I have the memory to perform at a relatively high level. So I'm gonna try and give it a little bit of a punch, not a full punch, but a bit more intent. All right, I need to switch on for this. Again, this is pretty much close to the heaviest that I've deadlifted since my bicep tear. So it does deserve my respect. I'm still getting stronger. This is heavy relative to me right now. So switched on. Come on. Ha! You know what to do, baby. Come on. You know what to do. Easy. Good pause. Strong lats. Your lats are gonna be key here. Squeeze those fucking things. I'll explain how you can do that after this set. Ha! Ooh. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, I'll take that. I reckon we can go heavier. I think we'll go heavier. I'll go heavier. And I'll talk about the lats. Lats are fucking important for a deadlift. Let's go. All right, gang, now before I move on to my top set, I wanted to talk about the lats, right? Now the lats, when we deadlift, using them, it's a little bit different than we would with, let's say, a squat or a bench press, okay? With a squat or a bench press, when we're using our lats and stuff, we're thinking about our scapula as well, like scapular retraction and depression, right? The lats are heavily involved in the retraction and the depression specifically of the scapula. Now, if we do that with a deadlift, what happens is this, right? Think about it, pull our shoulder blades together, shortens our arms. We don't want to shorten our arms, okay? So using the lats is maybe a little more tricky for some people, but we want to think about almost like protraction. So we're like pushing the shoulder blades almost out and down a little bit. All right, so I think about pushing my fingertips to the floor in front of me, just my hands on my quads. I push them down as hard as I can. And I squeeze my armpits, and you'll feel your lats. You'll feel them brace and squeeze. Because we're squeezing everything, the pecs, the lats, everything in tight, pushing down, being long, elongating everything, okay? And the crown of the head, it reaches for the ceiling. I'm not pushing down, I'm not looking up, but it's reaching. Okay, I'm tall, I'm making myself long. All right, and that's how we're going to use the lats. We're going to squeeze in and be long. All right, now one more thing is when we go to push with the legs, we want to make sure they stay very slightly externally rotate. We don't want them to be coming in while we're trying to deadlift. So we push and it's like, I think about just grazing my forearms with my shins. That works. I'm gonna switch on for this now. This is a post-injury PR. I'm nervous. Hey, it's a test for me. It's gonna be challenging. It's only 250. It's humbling for me, but I'm hungry to improve each week. Gotta get back to 400 kilos, baby. Let's go. Let's go, baby, come on. Easy, confidence. Confidence, you know exactly what to fucking do. Strong. Yep. Yep. Woo! It's gonna be easy. Yep. Yeah, Bobby, let's go! I like it. It was pretty hard, but also pretty comfortable at the same time. It's just like the new stimulus again. It's like when I started Zercher squatting, the pressure is what gets you. With the pause deadlift, just the pressure can be a little bit unpleasant and visceral, but it feels good to get it done. I'll do some back down work to refine that shit. We're looking good. Back in a sec. All right, really happy with that top single. Again, 10 kilos progress from last week and with a pause as well. So a more difficult variation, although it's not overly heavy at all for me right now. Yes, the stimulus is a little challenging, but that strength is coming back pretty quickly. And provided I keep patient, but also keep consistent with my progress, I don't see why I won't be pulling 300 kilos in 4 to 6 weeks, right? Now, the bicep is not 100% healed, right? Yes, it's been just over 4 months. This takes a long time to fully recover, which is why it's really important that I don't get ahead of myself and start trying to load too much weight on the bar. I'm not in the rush. I'm adding 10 kilos per session, which is appropriate. I'm not, as I said, not in a hurry to get anywhere. I just want to make sure that when I get there, I'm healed, I'm feeling good, so I can push perhaps beyond what I've done before, right? Trying to wisen up with my old age and learn from my lessons of being a dickhead when I was younger. So what I'm gonna do now is some back down work. Again, nothing crazy. Probably just 2 sets of 3 with 200 kilos. More deficit deadlifting, sorry, more pause deadlifting, but from a deficit now. And I apologize for all the fucking noise if you can hear all the birds outside. Again, I swear they know I'm filming and they just make as much noise as fucking possible. Drive me fucking crazy anyway. Paused deficit deadlifts, again, just a slightly more difficult variation than the regular pause deadlift, working through an extended range of motion, working from a slightly weaker position, but that's what we really want to do with the deficit, is we want to get really strong through that bottom position, so when we push off the ground, we're staying in position, okay? We're not pushing and then being pulled out of position, and I really find the deficit helpful for that. So again, 50 kilos lighter, 3 repetitions, couple sets, we'll see how we go, technique focused, and then we'll move on to some more difficult stuff after that, where I can push the intensity a little harder with less focus on things like technique. So machine work, for example. But we'll still switch on. Oh, let's get it. Alrighty, easy. Easy peasy. One more set, baby. Let's go. All right, gang, final set of these. I'm gonna film them from the side, just so it's a little more unforgiving for me, so you can see my positioning with the pause, with the deficit from the side, especially at the midpoint. as we get close to the end of this video, I want you to be fresh, taking away some solid information and some solid visuals, not only of my good looks, but also my fantastic technique, because you want to lift like me so you can be strong like me, maybe stronger, maybe almost as strong, I don't really know, but you just want to be fucking stronger, and I'm here to help. That's what we do. So, last set of these, we'll move on to some accessories before we wrap this baby up. I've had fun though. Make sure you like this video, drop a comment, and subscribe to your mum's favorite channel on YouTube, Cult Strength. Yes, sir. Let's go. 5 for good measure. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. We'll chat in a sec, baby. And that pretty much wraps up the session. I'm still gonna do some accessory work, some hamstrings and shit like that, but that's all the deadlifting. And you know, I really hope you learned something. Hope it was valuable. Now, yesterday on my Instagram, I posted up a free 4-week bench press peaking program. So if you wanna go and get that, Cult Strength Puppy with underscores on Instagram. It's totally free. You just screenshot it or save the post. But you know, as I said, I like to be helpful. I'll give you all the information I can. I'm not gatekeeping anything. But if this isn't enough and you're dead set on fucking getting bigger, getting stronger, maybe you want to compete, maybe you just want to feel better, I am here to help even further. I offer online coaching, customized, no matter wherever you are in the world. If you're in the United States, if you're in Europe, if you're in India, Asia, even New Zealand, you know, I can help you. So send me an email, thecultstrength@gmail.com, and just let me know you're inquiring for coaching, and I'll be in touch with you. But you know, that's for those people who are definitely ready to take things to the next level. Maybe you're sick of just spinning your wheels and getting mediocre results from the gym. You know, it's more than just programming. It's more than just technique. You know, it's those things combined, plus a bunch of other stuff. That's how you get really good. And that's what, you know, the coaching really helps with. Because obviously you can have a program, you can have the technique, but you need to know how to implement that for yourself. And some people get stuck with that part. But that's why there's people like me, you know what I'm saying? But make sure you've liked, make sure you drop a comment, subscribe. I'll be back probably a couple days for some bench press, light bench day, which I'm looking forward to. So until then, you know what to do, baby. Go to the fucking gym. Let's go.